up, get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TPP Frontline. Ladies and gentlemen, we are just a few weeks away from Network Collision, but tonight, Frontline brought to you by RCW. Make sure to watch them on YouTube at HRC Networks, as well as Power Wrestling. Make sure to watch them on YouTube at Admin Animal. And then, of course, as always, MCW. Make sure to watch them on YouTube at MCW Promotions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Christopher Billings, and the scene that we saw last week as Frontline was getting ready to go off the air was a scene that I never thought in my entire professional career, I never thought I would see something get to the extent that it was. And Die Hard put James Braden and Lance Owens in a #1 contendership match for the TPP Championship. And the final scene that we saw last week is in the corner of your screen there. We saw Bryson, Scythe, and James Braden completely obliterating Lance Owens, a man who doesn't do anything to hurt anybody. He doesn't go out of his way to cause problems with people or to be a troublesome bother. He doesn't do anything like that, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, we have TCO standing in the ring, Die Hard, James Braden, Scythe, and Bryson. So, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I guess we're going to go there. Maybe we can get some answers, so let's go cut to the ring.
You know something? I am truly relieved that Craig Hazard now has a formidable opponent for Network Collision. Because nobody thought it was going to happen, right? They all thought that Craig Hazard was just going to have some opponent that he could just waltz over and take out. But James Braden, the #1 contender for the TPP Championship, that's big, right? And then, of course, you know, you have Scythe, this young man, this young, hungry talent, almost as hungry as the current internet champion Bryson. I mean, you guys just don't understand. TCO is its own special entity, and nobody seems to understand that more than me. Because what I do when I bring people in, I make them realize their full potential. And everybody will understand one day just how great TCO is. You may not realize it yet, but you will. You can count on that. Now, Craig Hazard, tonight, you're going to have a match. You're going to have a pretty fun match. I think it's fun. We haven't gotten to see TCO in action as a cohesive unit in a very long time. And so tonight, we're going to see Scythe, James Braden, and our current internet champion, Bryson. We're going to see all three of them in a 6-man tag team match tonight, right? That sounds great. But who are they going to face? Well, Craig Hazard, you're going to face TCO tonight. Now, don't worry. It's not a handicap match. But I know how much you like helping people and how much, you enjoy being pals with everybody. So, tonight, now, Lance Owens, you had your opportunity and you messed it up. You messed it up beyond belief. So tonight, Craig Hazard, your partners are going to be Jimmy B. Martinez, because that loudmouth A&D tramp keeps running his mouth about Bryson. He's going to learn a hard lesson tonight. Do not do things like that against TCO. It just doesn't work like that. And then James McKay. See, he's been kind of vocal on Twitter as well. So you're both going to team up with Craig Hazard, the current TPP champion, and you guys are going to have to work as a unit against a team, not just any team, the team to be on. You're going to have to work together to try to beat TCO. And anybody who's been in the business long enough knows that TCO does not get beaten. So I hope and I pray that you all think very, very carefully about your plan tonight, because TCO tonight is going to reign supreme, just like every other night. And just keep in mind what happened to Lance Owens last week. It can happen to anybody at any time on this roster. Anybody who steps foot into my arena, you are my personal slave. You will do what I tell you to do. You will jump when I tell you to jump, and you will ask how high. And when I tell you to jump 30 feet in the air, you are going to smile and say, yes, sir, because that's what you do to keep your job. So, Network Collision is coming up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have not voted yet for your matches, go ahead and vote, because Bryson will beat Jimmy B. Martinez. Jimmy B. Martinez is a little fly in the bucket. He's just a little bug. And I'm sure that the other guy, the creative team's going to want to get that James McKay guy booked for Network Collision. I don't know why, because he sucks, but they think that he doesn't. And then, of course, Craig Hazard. No matter what kind of match these fans choose for you, you're going to lose to James Braden. So everybody needs to mark their calendars, because on September 28th, that will be the last day that Craig Hazard is the TPP champion. You got lucky twice against Extreme, but it's not going to happen at Network Collision against James Braden. It just doesn't happen 3 times in a row. You will not be able to beat TCO. And that's just the way it is. And as soon as you understand that, Craig, I could help propel your career. I could get you movie deals. I could make you a superstar. But no, you want to try to go against the grain and be against the machine. So now you are going to learn a very, very painful lesson. And this lesson, it does not have a good ending for you. I really hope that your health insurance coverage is current, because you will need it, not only tonight, but every episode that you are featured on.
I can't believe what I'm saying. Those 4 men in the ring right now, ladies and gentlemen, those 4 men are corporate sellouts right there. That is what TCO is. It is a group of corporate sellouts that will do anything for any amount of money. Die Hard is belittling the TPP champion and every great wrestler that comes through those doors for TPP. He's belittling everybody just so that he can try to get some ratings. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced a huge main event for tonight, no doubt about it, a 6-man tag. That's huge. And then, the fact that James McKay and Jimmy B. Martinez get to work with Craig Hazard, that's huge. But my fear is, will TCO still reign supreme in that given situation? But ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get this show underway. And I can't think of a better way to get things started tonight. We have Kanji facing Lance Owens. And like I said at the top of the show, Lance Owens got put into this #1 contender match, last week against James Braden, and it was a clear mismatch. We all knew that. But Lance Owens, he was in there. He was fighting, and he almost won a couple of times against James Braden. But unfortunately, those that train in TCO, they tend to have a very high threshold and tolerance for pain, and James Braden was able to pull out the win and become the #1 contender. But Lance Owens, not. He didn't quit like everybody thought he was going to do after the TCO brawl or the complete destruction that they did to Lance Owens last week. He came back and he's here tonight, and he's here to compete. He's here to compete for the TPP universe, and that for me alone is enough to make me still be a big Lance Owens fan. regardless of what happened last week. He's still here this week. It's a new week, and it's a new opportunity for Lance Owens to go out here and make a name for himself. And you know that's what he wants to do. And you know, I don't think he has any problem with Kanji, to be honest. And I don't think Kanji has a problem with Lance Owens. And so we're getting ready to get this underway. Lance Owens versus Kanji. Kanji holds a pinfall victory over Anthony Guerrero Jr. Lance Owens has yet to pick up a pinfall victory on Frontline. He's done it at a few of our house shows, but never on Frontline. So this should be interesting to say the least. And an eye rake there from Lance Owens to Kanji, trying to get something going in the early goings of this matchup, just trying to get something in place. And Kanji, a snapmare, and then a fist drop there. And nothing fancy about that. Both of these young men are trying to be careful, because we're almost at Network Collision. That September 28th Network Collision, that's going to be huge. And so that these two young men are looking to try to get onto Network Collision. Everybody wants to be onto Network Collision. You want to be at that event. You want to be part of that event. You don't just want to, you don't just want to be a guy in the back watching it. You want to be in that event. And right now, a beautiful, beautiful backbreaker there from Lance Owens hooks the far leg into the cover here. Only a 1 count, though, for Lance Owens on Kanji. And now Owens with a big running clothesline, getting some momentum behind him as he did it. And then Kanji with that quick arm drag on Owens. And look at that beautiful running cross body from Kanji. And that's what I'm talking about. These young men, like I said, I don't think they have any issues with each other. They're just trying to get in a position where they are comfortable. And Kanji way overshot that there, and Owens able to pick up the pieces here. Hooks the far leg. 1, 2, and Kanji, he went face first, finally getting back to his feet. As I was saying, though, both of these young men, they love the TPP universe. The TPP universe loves them. And so they're out here now. I mean, these fans are clapping for them in the beginning of the show. And that's good, because both Kanji and Owens are looking to make their big break. They're looking to make their big impact. And there's nothing wrong with that. And Owens here, that float over neck breaker there. And now what is Owens? Owens taunting to the fans. The fans are feeling it. Wait a second. Owens slicks his hair, and then a big jumping elbow drop there. Slaps the mat. And now Kanji back to his feet. Wait a second. Kanji to the top rope, and that was a beautiful, beautiful, I call that the reverse face buster. That was a beautiful, beautiful reverse face buster there. And Kanji, again, the quick arm drags. And such contrasting styles in this matchup. Lance Owens he's a big corn-fed guy, He's very tall. He's not, he's not super duper strong, but the kid can fight. He can physically fist fight with people. And Kanji, using his speed and his aggressiveness there. And Kanji, a very small young man. He's about 215 pounds. And so he flies around the ring. He takes these high-risk moves. And Lance Owens, he's 6'5", 245 pounds. So, I mean, when he does something, it's impactful when he does specific things. And wait a second, now Owens with the single leg Boston Crab. And again, so close to the ropes here. I mean, Kanji is so close to the ropes. And I think that this is where the inexperience of these superstars comes in. Because a veteran superstar would have maybe pulled him away from the ropes or waited until he had him a little bit further away. But Kanji able to power himself out of that single leg Boston Crab, which is very impressive, because like I said, Lance Owens, 6'5", 240 pounds. He's a decently sized guy, and only a 1 count for Kanji, though, on Lance Owens. And now Kanji, beautiful side Russian leg sweep there. And Kanji ran in, he went back and then ran back in with that running flipping senton there. That was very, very impressive. And now Kanji, this matchup has been very back and forth. I'm very impressed with that. But a big knee face buster there from Lance Owens to Kanji. But Kanji starting to get something. Wait a second, Kanji lifts up Owens. He's got him up in the brain buster there. Kanji hooks the far leg here. 1, 2, And only a 2 count for Kanji on Lance Owens. Owens with a big big right hand, and then that rotating elbow, shades of what happened to him last week against James Braden. And now what is Kanji getting back to his feet? But wait a second, Owens, oh, that backcracker there. Into the cover, hooks the far leg. Is this it? 1, 2, and 3, and Lance Owens has picked up his first victory on Frontline against Kanji, just a few weeks away from Network Collision. That was an impressive victory nonetheless. I don't care what anybody says. That was super impressive for Lance Owens to get that win right there at that given moment, seeing as though what happened to Lance Owens last week. I'm impressed, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you, but I am impressed. Lance Owens finally starting to get somewhere here on Frontline. The fans are cheering for him. I'm cheering for him. I hope you're cheering for him at home. Excitement that only the power plant can deliver, ladies and gentlemen. And in the power plant is the only place you'll ever see Lance Owens. Like I said, that was a great match. I'm very impressed with what I saw from Lance Owens. I didn't expect to. I thought that Kanji was going to win the match, but Owens pulled it out there, and Owens won. And so moving on to our next matchup here, Neon, a close runner-up for the Adrenaline Championship. The last time we saw Neon was, I believe, maybe a week after Urban Warfare. And so Neon was taking a little bit of time for himself, and tonight he's got a huge obstacle in his way. But if he can pick up a win, it'll be very impressive. He's facing the current Adrenaline champion, Phoenix. The last time Neon saw Phoenix was at Urban Warfare. And so earlier this week, Phoenix was in the TPP studio, and this is what he sent us a little message for Orion James in regards to Network Collision. And so in a moment here, we're going to actually get the playback of it.
Orion, you just don't get it, do you, kid? Last week I released a video letting you know how I felt about you, the self-proclaimed savior of the Adrenaline division. I am the king of this division and refuse to lose to a bum like you. So Network Collision, I will give you one more chance. One more chance to prove yourself worthy to become champion.
You know, the thing is, Phoenix is a very arrogant person. He doesn't really, I don't think he cares about anybody but himself and the Adrenaline Championship. And we're going to see Orion James a little bit later tonight. But for Phoenix, I think Phoenix only cares about himself. And as you saw there, that standing enziguri there on Neon, he's not doing any favors for Neon tonight. Neon took that time off to just recuperate, because Neon took a lot of damage in that ladder match at Urban Warfare. And beautiful standing dropkick there by Neon, and another beautiful standing dropkick. I love seeing the Adrenaline division compete. I love seeing it. It's so fun, so exciting. And now, look at this, a knee to the side, and then, a kick right to the side of the head from Phoenix. And now Neon trying to get something going here. He's trying to, get some momentum going here. He's trying to get something going, and Neon being aggressive here with the current Adrenaline champion. And you got to believe a strong showing here tonight against Phoenix is going to put Neon in the position to where he could potentially in the future challenge for the Adrenaline Championship. And I've said this before, but I can't wait for the day to come when Phoenix loses that Adrenaline Championship. Phoenix is very arrogant. He's not friendly in the back. He's not friendly to the fans. I've seen him flip fans off before as he was leaving the arena. And typically people will stick around and sign autographs, but not Phoenix. He comes in, he gets paid, and he leaves. That's what he does. And he's got gold around his waist. And so I'm hoping that Orion James or even Neon, somebody takes that Adrenaline Championship away from Phoenix. And as you saw, the enziguri there about knocked Phoenix out of his boots, but the referee was admonishing Phoenix as Neon had went for the pin. And now a back and forth kicks there from Neon and Phoenix. And Phoenix with that big right hand knocking Neon to the outside. Phoenix jumps out with a big Hurricane Rana And as you see, our referee is counting. Terry Gates counting a little bit faster than normal. Maybe it's because it's the adrenaline division, but the referee's already up to a 5 count. We've only gotten till a 10 count before the match will end, and so we're up to a 7. So one of these two has to do something. And now into the ring, it looks like Phoenix is gonna come in. And the counts restarted there as Neon went back to the outside into the cover. No, Phoenix able to kick out before even a 1 count there. And now Phoenix starting to get momentum into his favor here. And that's one thing about Neon into the cover after that big kick. 1, 2, and a 2 count. A 2 count for the current Adrenaline champion tonight here on Frontline. And as I was getting ready to say, Neon is, he works very hard, but Phoenix is a very stiff competitor when it comes to the TPP environment. As you saw that sunset powerbomb to the outside, we saw that, and now right here in front of my table, Neon and Phoenix are going at it, but Neon gets the better of the situation, and now the referee already up to a 4 count here. And the referee admonishing Neon as Neon was getting into the ring. And now Neon whips Phoenix into the ropes, and he misses with that spinning wheel kick. And I thought for sure that he was going to catch Phoenix on his way in, but Phoenix using his body, he's a little bit bigger than Neon. And so he used his shoulder mass to stop him. Oh, and that leaping, lunging clothesline there into the cover here. Only a 1 count, though, for Phoenix. And Phoenix, with those strikes, nothing fancy about those strikes. Those are meant to cause damage, and they're meant to cause pain. That's why he does those specific strikes. They're meant to make you very uncomfortable and cause you to have a headache in the morning or back pain in the morning. That's what his strikes are meant to do. And Neon trying to fight back. He's trying to beat the current Adrenaline champion, but wait a second. Phoenix to the top rope, springboard, and then a moonsault there. And now Phoenix is calling for something. You got to believe Phoenix is looking for it. He calls this the rise of the Phoenix. A swift knee to the forehead there. That will knock you for a loop and 3, and that is it. That's all she wrote. Phoenix picks up another impressive victory on Frontline as if he didn't take any damage. And it's unfortunate that Neon did not win, but Phoenix came prepared. He was ready for Neon tonight. Even though Neon was well rested, unfortunately he was not able to beat the current Adrenaline champion. So I'm hoping, Ryan James, if you can hear me, if you're watching on a monitor backstage right now, please beat Phoenix at Network Collision. Please do us all a favor and take that title off of him. He does not deserve to be the Adrenaline champion. Please do us that favor, Orion James. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on with our show. We have our semifinal for our first semifinal match for the tag team tournament. Justin Frost and Kent McLeod. Now, if you've been at our house shows, you've been seeing these two just tearing it down. They've been chomping at the bit since January of earlier this year, and now they're brought back onto Frontline. And now, if they can beat Atlas and Travis Porter tonight, they are guaranteed to go on to Network Collision, and they will get another opportunity at the TPP Tag Team Championships, and that'll be at Network Collision, which we'll find out who their opponents are going to be next week. And so I'm interested to see the outcome of this match. I'm interested to know, because this is big. Atlas is 295 pounds, and Travis Porter 202 pounds. And definitely a size disadvantage for Travis Porter, but there's a size advantage for Atlas. I mean, Kent McLeod, 262 pounds, so I mean he's kind of up there, but still, he's still smaller than Atlas. Atlas is taller than him, and we all know that Atlas is extremely strong. I mean, we saw what he did to Titan, recently at Blood and Glory. So we know that Atlas can throw people around, even people that are the same size as him. So this is going to be an interesting match, to say the least. So here we go. Justin Frost and Travis Porter both wearing like a Frost, kind of like a teal blue tonight. Very nice to see that. And Justin Frost getting the side headlock here on Travis Porter, but no, Porter switches position to the front headlock. But again, Frost switches position now into the side wrist lock, into the side headlock, and a basic backbreaker, nothing fancy. And Travis Porter is definitely the smallest wrestler in this matchup. No doubt about that, but you cannot underestimate this kid's heart. He's got amazing leaps and bounds of heart. He's got such a chemistry when he gets into the ring, when he starts getting on a roll. But Justin Frost, he's a very experienced wrestler. He's been around for quite a while, so he knows what he has to do to hold somebody like Travis Porter down. And now Travis Porter starting to gain a little bit of momentum. Not much, but a little bit of and a big pullback kick there right to the side of the head. And Travis Porter now has Justin Frost reeling here. He leaps over him twice, and he catches Porter with that big uppercut. Very impressive for Travis Porter to be able to do that to the big man. And as you saw, that kick to the back of the head. But Travis Porter, his signature taunt there, but no. Travis Porter staying on the offense, but and Atlas, big right hand onto, that was a big right hand to Justin Frost. And now Atlas, the big man, the legal big man here. And now look at this, Atlas and Travis Porter showing that they can work together. The clash in the size and the clash of weight classes, but they are working together right now, and that is impressive. And Frost trying to battle back here against Titan. Against Atlas. I'm sorry about that. But it's only a matter of time. If Atlas starts getting on a roll, I think that it might be kind of bad for Frost. And as you saw, Frost, that gutbuster, did not lift Atlas that high, but he lifted him high enough. And Atlas, big headbutt there into the cover. 1, 2, and a 2 count off of a basic headbutt. And that's what I'm talking about. Atlas is such a big man. And he had tried another headbutt there, but Justin Frost was able to counter. And again, the size and strength of Atlas, but as you saw, Justin Frost countered there. Big standing uppercut, very impressive. And now what's Frost going to do? Frost runs in, big running drop kick in the corner. That will definitely help to shift the momentum in favor of Justin Frost and Kent McLeod. And Justin Frost, he hasn't tagged in Kent McLeod yet. And it looks like I may have spoken too soon, ladies and gentlemen, because it looks like Kent McLeod is now getting tagged into this matchup. A snapmare there. And then, that float over neck breaker, and then a beautiful elbow drop from McLeod. And now Atlas and McLeod, so the two big men of these teams, and Atlas better of the situation here on McLeod. And Atlas using his physical strength. And when I say physical strength, I mean physical strength. And now Atlas walking over to McLeod. But McLeod, a big hooking right hand. And for those of you that don't know, and a big spill to the outside from McLeod, and Atlas starting to get out of the ring. But Atlas is such a big guy, ladies and gentlemen. It takes him so long. But I was going to say, for those of you that don't know McLeod, a former underground fighter. He's got very heavy fists when he punches, and Atlas with the big elbow there. And Atlas is just a power lifter, and he just kind of fell into being a wrestler. And so now McLeod here, and a big elbow right across the chin. And ladies and gentlemen, we do have to take a quick commercial break. So we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen, as Frontline rolls on tonight on episode 21. And we're back here, ladies and gentlemen, and during the break, lots of back and forth, and we still managed to get Travis Porter and Justin Frost both back in the ring. And oh, big springboard there, springboard moonsault from Travis Porter. And as this match has progressed, Travis Porter has picked up the pace, ladies and gentlemen. He's been very, very aggressive, and I think that is what Travis Porter needs to do. Because Travis Porter, that leg drop bulldog there, Porter into the cover here. 1, 2, almost a 3 count there for Travis Porter on Justin Frost, but no. Justin Frost was luckily able to kick out, and a big drop kick there from Justin Frost. And now Justin Frost with a flurry of strikes, just a flurry of strikes on Travis Porter. And now we're seeing we're seeing what I figured would come down to this point. I figured we'd start to see Frost start to get some momentum into the cover here off of that neck breaker, and a 2 count. Atlas, sensing the danger, got into the ring, but luckily Travis Porter was able to kick out. And now Travis Porter whips Frost into the ropes, leaps over him. Oh, a big modified forearm there right across the top of the head. Nothing fancy about it, just using his speed, and that's what we always talk about when we say speed. Travis Porter, he's an adrenaline weight class superstar, and so he's got an amazing amount of speed. And now we're seeing Justin Frost start to kind of have his way here with Travis Porter in that suplex. Nothing fancy about it, just a quick snap on it to add some extra additional impact. And now Justin Frost with a basic side slam. Hooks the far leg here in the cover, and a 2 count for Justin Frost. And wait a second, Justin Frost arm wrench, then a big DDT there. And this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. The longer this matchup goes, you gotta believe Kent McLeod and Justin Frost have the benefit from that, because they are a tag team. They've been a tag team for a long time. They've been working together for a very long time. Travis Porter and Atlas, as far as I know, they're just friends backstage. And, so that it is what it is when it comes to that. And now what is Justin Frost going to do here? Oh, a big right hand to Travis Porter. And now Justin Frost just tagged in Kent McLeod. Wait a second. They're looking for something here. McLeod pacing. And, oh my God. Wow, did you just see that? That was, hooks the far leg here. 1, 2, 3, and Travis Porter could not kick out of that. I mean, that was so quick. The way that happened, Justin Frost just beeled Travis Porter into the air, and McLeod just caught him in that big Samoan drop. I've seen it on the house show, but can we take another look at that? Can we get a replay? Because it happened so fast. The pacing of it was just so quick. And okay, so we're getting this replay here. So can we get it to slow down? Okay, so Porter turns into this. I mean, look at the height that Frost gets Porter. He just throws him into the air. Porter had nowhere to go, and he got caught in that Samoan drop there from Kent McLeod. And Kent McLeod, like I said, 260 plus pounds, coming down right on top of you. It doesn't really give you too many other places to go, and so Justin Frost, Kent McLeod move on in the tag team tournament. They are in the final. They are guaranteed a tag team title opportunity at Network Collision. And this young man, he's got a tag team match next week, and we know about it. We know in advance. I already know who Anthony Guerrero Jr. and Jamie Hall are going to be facing. It's Jerry Graham and Damian Gamer. And the fans have a mixed reaction when Anthony Guerrero Jr. comes down to the ring, and I don't blame them, because he was forced into this tag team unit with Jamie Hall. And tonight he's got a singles match, though. And like I was saying earlier, Orion James would be in action a little bit later, and that's who Anthony Guerrero Jr. is facing right now, is Orion James. And so I think that this is going to be a really good matchup if Junior can. I don't really know. I know I want to see Orion James win. I know that, but part of me wants to see Anthony Guerrero step up and do something impressive here tonight, but I don't know. And Orion James has positioned himself to where he's almost guaranteed a title opportunity at Network Collision based on what Phoenix said. Phoenix openly accepted the rematch for Network Collision. So I'm assuming sometime this weekend, you're going to see that video go up onto the YouTube channel announcing this matchup. And what that means is, that means you, the TPP universe, you need to go vote. You need to vote for the match type that you want to see Orion James face Phoenix in. And I know what kind of match I would want to see him in. Whenever I see those options, as long as I have that option up there, I already know what I'm going to pick. But hopefully we all pick the same thing and we can watch Phoenix lose this championship to Orion James. Let's make sure it's not a ladder match, though, because currently Phoenix is 2-0 in those. But enough about Phoenix. He's already been on the show. Let's get to what's going on here. Orion James, Anthony Guerrero Jr., the son of Die Hard, versus Orion James, the guy that Die Hard says he loathes, he hates him. Orion James he comes in and he's got the fans behind him. Anthony Guerrero Jr. at one time had the fans fully behind him. And as you see here, Jr. and Orion James kind of pacing the ring. Jr. looks a little timid to lock it up here. As you notice, Jamie Hall did not accompany Jr. to the ring. And a stalemate there. And Anthony Guerrero Jr. is not that big, ladies and gentlemen. He's about 212, 213 pounds right now. And Orion James, is small as well. And Orion James gets the better of the situation and switches position into the side headlock here. And a standing enziguri there just kicked Jr. right in the back of the head. And now Jr. with the side headlock on Orion James. And now Jr. of some step kicks right to the head. That kick right to the abdomen, back into the side headlock, whips Orion James into the ropes, leaps into the drop kick there. And then now Jr. into the cover. Quick cover here. Only a 1 count though for Anthony Guerrero Jr. on Orion James. And now Jr. again whips Orion James into the ropes. And again that leaping drop kick. Jr. again going for the cover here. 1 and a 1 count again for Anthony Guerrero Jr. And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, these are both smaller competitors. They're both smaller superstars. So you got to believe. Oh, wait, Orion James, I think he took too long. Jr. ran back in, but Orion James caught Jr. with that flipping clothesline and another one there. And he ran into Jr., pulled him back into a kick right to the face. And now, again, Orion James with that kick. And then a standing leg drop. Hooks the far leg here into the cover. And Jr. able to get his shoulders up as the referee was admonishing there. It looked like there was a rope pull, but I'm not 100% sure. Now that offers Jr. the ability to get leverage in his favor. And another pullback kick from Jr. And I had a feeling this was going to be a good matchup. I didn't know it was going to be this high intensity. I did not know that, ladies and gentlemen, but Jr. is dishing it out tonight against Orion James and vice versa. And now Jr. That kick to the every young, smaller superstar, they do that kick to the ribs. And ladies and gentlemen, when you get kicked in the ribs like that, it can break your ribs. You could have broken ribs after receiving that kick. And now, Orion James just tapped the top of the skull with his boots on Anthony Guerrero Jr.'s head. That's huge. And now Orion James starting to slow the match down a little bit. He's starting to dictate the pace here. And that's good. That's good for Orion James. He's pacing himself. He's not burning himself out into the cover here after that big lunging leg drop. 1, 2, and only a 2 count, but the longer this match progressed. And Jr. was still down, so he was. That could have been a 3 count possibly. 1, and only a 1 count for Orion James that time on that pinfall. And then that springboard. He's known to do that springboard dropkick. Hooks the far leg. 1. Only a 1 count though for Orion James again, and now Jr. went for that kick, but Orion James sidestepped it there, and then pulls Anthony Guerrero Jr. back into that side slam. And ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize, but I'm being notified that we have to take one more commercial break. before we can get to the conclusion of this matchup. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in just a quick moment. Sit tight, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Diehard, the CEO of the power plant. Now, I get many occurrences throughout the week when people ask me, what does it take to be a TPP superstar? Well, most importantly, you have to be a constant professional. You always have to think and put the fans first. And I also always get questions of, is it storyline driven? Are there meaningful things? Remember, TPP Frontline, it is a family-oriented program. We care about our superstars. Every wrestler that wrestles in TPP knows that there are dangers involved with wrestling. As any gifted athlete in the world would say, it always comes down to this. These are trained professional athletes.
3-on-1 here. The numbers game.
So what makes you think that TPP Frontline is different? It's just the way we are. We are a different kind of place to be. Again, I'm Diehard, the CEO of the power plant.
And we're back here, folks, and during the break, a lot of back and forth, but Junior was starting to mount a little bit of offense during the break, but now Orion James back on the offense there, side rush and leg sweep. And now a beautiful, quick flipping senton there. And now, wait a second, Orion James, big head kick again. Orion James loves those head kicks. He loves them. And now Orion James, but throughout the entire break, though, there was a lot of near falls. And Orion James is trying to figure out what is it going to take to put this young Anthony Guerrero Jr. away. And wait a second, he's getting Anthony Guerrero Jr. back to his feet. Orion James with a drop kick right to the chest, very close proximity, using all that momentum. And now, wait a second, Orion James again calling Anthony Guerrero Jr. to his feet. Oh, missile drop kick right to the lower back. Hooks the far leg, or goes for the pin here. I'm sorry about that. 2 and a 2 count for Orion James. Oh, Anthony Guerrero Jr. big kick, that rib kick. And wait a second, Anthony Guerrero Jr. giving that taunt. Jr. runs in. Oh, and he actually got this move this time, and that big uppercut in the corner there. Very impressive to say the least. And now Jr. again attempted that drop kick, but Orion James able to roll out of the way. And now, Orion James starting to do those kicks. And now, wait a second, Orion James leaves on the ropes, that big flying clothesline. Wait a second. Junior counters from the ground, a snapmare, and then a spinal tap there. Junior, wait a second. Junior jumped in with the flying leg drop there. You don't see that very often. A flying leg drop as a springboard, hooks the far leg. 1, 2, and only a 2 count though for Anthony Guerrero Jr. And Jr. again springboard with that rotating DDT, hooks the far leg here. 1, 2, and as you see, Jr. starting to pick up the pace of this matchup, starting to be more aggressive when he's doing and that big rotating elbow there from Orion James. And now Orion James, that rotating belly to back. And then a kick right to the small of the back there, and then a kick to the abdomen. And now Orion James with another springboard drop kick there. Wait a second, what is Orion James thinking? Orion James with the standing drop kick to the face there. Nothing fancy about it, just doing damage to Anthony Guerrero Jr. And wait a second, Anthony with the quick roll up here. 1, 2. Orion James was able to get out of it. 1, 2, and Junior could not switch positions. So, big running knee from Orion James there. hooks the far leg, or this has got to be it. 2 or 1, 2. Only a 2 count though for Orion James. And now Junior, that vaulting drop kick that he does. I thought for sure that after that knee it was going to be over. But Junior's still hanging in here. He's still hanging in this matchup. And kick right to the back of the head. And now Junior with that knee right to the side of the head there. Wait a second, what is Junior thinking? Junior ascending the top rope, calling Orion James to his feet. Oh, a big punch to the side of the head there. Anthony Guerrero Jr., big Hurricane Rana, hooks the legs from the top rope. 1, 2. Only a 2 count for Anthony Guerrero Jr. Jr. hits the ropes, and beautiful, beautiful rotating enziguri there into the cover here. 1, 2. Lots of near falls, ladies and gentlemen. Orion James, Anthony Guerrero Jr., lots of near falls late in this matchup. And Orion James, that kick, and then he did that moonsault, but it hurt him just as much as it hurt Anthony Guerrero Jr. And now it's dependent on who's going to get up first. As you see, Terry Gates just standing, and Junior got to his feet first with that knee right to the side of the skull. And now again, Anthony Guerrero Jr. doing that knee. And Junior flying clothesline. Wait a second, what is Anthony Guerrero Jr. thinking here? That springboard in the corner, and he missed. He missed horribly bad on that. And now Orion James ascending the top rope. Orion James with the flying elbow right to the chest, into the cover. 1, 2. And only a 2 count for Orion James. And Junior trying to get something going again. He's taken a lot of damage. And Junior attempted that standing drop kick, but Orion James was able to shut him down. And like I was saying, Anthony Guerrero Jr. has taken a lot of damage thus far in this matchup. Orion James runs in, big running drop kick in the corner. And now Orion James with that frog splash as a springboard. And these young guys are so impressive with these quick moves. And wait a second, Anthony Guerrero Jr. reversed the pin attempt. 1, and wait a second, Orion James is reversing this pin attempt on Junior. 1, and only a 1 count there for Orion James. And Orion James with that rib kick of his own. And then again, that kick right to the top of the head. But Junior counters from the ground with a kick of his own. And now we're seeing Junior starting to try to get some momentum going in his favor in the quick arm drag. And we can't sell Junior short. He is a professional wrestler. He's skilled. He's just not very skilled. And what is Junior thinking here? He's got perfect positioning set up for anything right now. And Junior's going for it. Shades of Eddie Guerrero, the late Eddie Guerrero. Anthony Guerrero went for that frog splash, and he missed. And Orion James now able to he could capitalize on the situation. You got to believe Anthony Guerrero Jr.'s ribs are hurting right now. And Orion James whips Junior to the corner. Wait a second. That's jumping backflip. And then Junior missed wildly with that right hand. And that big flying elbow from Orion James. And as you hear the TPP Universe ungluing, springboard lion salt there from Orion James. Orion James, Tope Atomico. We see this in almost every match that we see Orion James in. But wait a second, Anthony Guerrero Jr. pulled back Hurricane Rana. He just stopped the momentum dead in its tracks, ladies and gentlemen. Dead in its tracks. Junior leaps over for that body press. But Orion James, wise enough to roll out of the way. And now Junior's got to get something going. Junior hits the ropes. He didn't see Orion James turn around that big flying clothesline. And now Orion James leaps off, elbow drop right to the heart. And now wait a second, Orion James. Now we're seeing Orion James starting to taunt, getting the fans behind him. Junior runs in, to that big kick right to the face from Orion James. 1, 2, and only a 2 count again. And now Orion James, that big knee lift there. I think that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's 2 knees to the head. 1, 2, 3, and thanks for coming, Anthony Guerrero Jr. But tonight, Orion James picks up the victory on Frontline, on episode 21. Impressive, no doubt about it, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how you want to twist it, that knee, when it hits you in the forehead, it will hurt and you will fall down. No doubt about that, ladies and gentlemen. There is no doubt in my mind that if you take a knee like that into the forehead, it is going to be very unpleasant. And you can't take anything away from Orion James, and you certainly cannot take anything away from Anthony Guerrero Jr. tonight. He did very well in his match against Orion James. I honestly thought that Anthony Guerrero Jr. was going to win. I really did. But Orion James, he was able to pull through and pick up another impressive victory here on Frontline. And now we're seeing them face to face here. Well, this is an interesting situation. Orion James extending, and oh my God, Junior is actually going to shake Orion James's hand. That's a good sign, and as you see, Junior now leaving the ring gracefully instead of pouting about it. That's good. That's very good. I'm happy in that sense. Orion James deserves to celebrate tonight. A much-deserved victory for Orion James, ladies and gentlemen. Now, unfortunately, our main event is up next, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately. I wish that this night could go on forever. So we're going to see TCO facing James Mackay, Jimmy B. Martinez, and current TPP champion, Craig Hazard. What I worry about is this, as we're getting ready to see TCO come to the ring. TCO is known to attack in packs. That's what they do. That's what they did to Owens last week. That's what they did to Jerry Graham a couple of months ago. That's what they did to Jamal Johnson. That's what they did to Jimmy B. Martinez 2 months ago. That's what they do. They attack like wolves, like a pack of animals. My fear is if James Mackay, Jimmy B. Martinez, and Craig Hazard cannot be on the same page tonight, then TCO will reign supreme. I don't want to see that. I want to see every single man in TCO get what they've got coming, just as much as the next guy. But we need to start facing facts that TCO, when they are working together as a unit, that is when they are the most dangerous. Because when Die Hard put this all together, you know, he knew that James Braden was going to be a big powerhouse. He knew that Bryson was going to have a technical side to him, and he knew that Scythe was going to be a brawler. That is the best combination of people that you could have. A brawler, a wrestler, and with no pun intended, a brick wall. And James Mackay, unfortunately for James Mackay, he got thrown into this situation, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think he asked to be put into this issue with Die Hard. He signed a contract for Frontline with the COO, the acting COO, Melinda Guerrero. He signed a contract right in front of me. I was there during the contract signing, and I told this young man, you're gonna do fine on Frontline. And now, it's almost like I'm biting my tongue here. He gets attacked in his debut match, and Die Hard then sits there and insults him when he comes out to the ring. So ladies and gentlemen, if you watch the playback of this, James Mackay, I do apologize that you are put in this situation. I know you didn't ask for this, but I have faith in you. The TPP universe has faith in you, James Mackay. We have faith that you will succeed here in the power plant, here on Frontline. You can do this, kid. All you got to do is just keep trucking along, and you've got two of the best partners you could possibly have tonight. And one of those partners is A&D member to the bone, Jimmy B. Martinez. And when somebody thinks of loyalty, when you think of somebody that's loyal to you, I want you all to think of just how loyal Jimmy B. Martinez would be to you. Jimmy B. Martinez is one of the most loyal men I've ever met in my life. He is a constant professional. If he's not training for his matches, he's working out. He's staying in shape. He's got such loyalty to his body, to the TPP universe. He goes out of his way to sign autographs for fans, to help people cross the street. Jimmy B. Martinez is probably one of the nicest guys you would ever meet in real life. But when he steps into the ring, when he steps onto Frontline, he becomes armed and dangerous Jimmy B. Martinez, the infamous one, and he can hit you with that IKO out of nowhere. That is just the way it is. He can hit you from anywhere with that. But let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, the TPP champion, Craig Hazard. This young man, I've said this numerous times, regardless of what Die Hard thinks, because Die Hard cannot fire me, he cannot fire Hazard. He might be able to fire Hazard, but he can't fire me. I can say what I want to say. Regardless of what Die Hard thinks, Craig Hazard is the most deserving champion in the world. Craig Hazard has done so much for the power plant over the course that he's been here. Like I've said numerous times, he never complained, he never whined, he never walked away. He always came and he always conquered. And now he's got gold around his waist to prove just how much he can conquer. He has conquered the power plant, and he's, even to this day, normally when you become a champion, all of a sudden you think that the world should bend to your will. But not Craig Hazard. Still, the fans love him. He loves the TPP universe. That is the way it should be. The champion should be loved by the fans, and the champion should love the fans. And that is what Craig Hazard does. And we're going to get this underway. I'm excited for this. And we're going to start it off with James Braden and James Mackay. I am seriously... And Mackay, that's what I'm talking about. See, Mackay, he's being intelligent here. He knows that if he gets into and this is what I was just getting ready to say. If he gets into this with James Braden, if he gets into a power contest, he's going to lose, because James Braden, 283 pounds. He's a big guy. He's a very big guy. He's big and he's strong. But James Mackay knows that he's got speed. And now, James Braden there, you saw the shoulder block. Nothing fancy about it. Basic shoulder block. And now again, James Braden whips Mackay into the ropes. And again, he catches Mackay with that shoulder block. And now Braden went to go out the ropes, but he had to make a detour to the top rope as Jimmy B. Martinez went to throw a right hand. I don't know if you saw that or not, but he went to throw one, ladies and gentlemen. And so now, James Mackay able to start getting something going for him. He's able to help get something going in this matchup, and that's always a good thing, ladies and gentlemen. Always a good thing. And now we're seeing the speed. We're seeing speed, take precedent over power. And James Braden missed wildly with that big right hand. And now a standing tie-up here. And, of course, James Braden got the better of the situation because James Braden is much larger than James Mackay. James Braden is probably the heaviest guy in this matchup right here, and so with every move he does, it hurts. He's got such weight and mass to him, and a very cocky, arrogant cover there by James Braden. As you saw, James Braden saying something to Craig Hazard, and then he turned around to get back into the matchup, but Mackay was ready. And now look at this, Mackay kicking the thigh and the knee, taking the leg out from under James Braden. And that's what he's got to do. He's got to go after the legs. He's got to take the big man's legs out. Because if he doesn't, James Braden can do things like that inverted backbreaker that he just did there, right to the back of the head. And now, wait a second. What's going on here? And James Braden, of course, getting the better of the situation. Because that's what he does. And now Scythe got tagged in here. So Scythe and James Braden working together. And as you see, oh, God, that was a double backbreaker, ladies and gentlemen. And now Scythe, he challenged James Mackay. And so, depending on, James Mackay's response. But into the cover here, 1, 2, and a 2 count for Scythe on Mackay. And Mackay, I think he needs to get tagged out because, again, James Braden back into the ring. And it looks like, okay, so Bryson was heading towards the other side of the ring there, into the cover here by Braden. And a 2 count for James Braden on James Mackay. And this is what I'm talking about. TCO is, Mackay needs to get tagged out. He needs to get either Craig Hazard or Jimmy B. Martinez in this matchup. Otherwise, this is going to be a very long night for James Mackay in that float over neck breaker from James Braden. We've seen that before, and here it is the second time from James Braden. He does it twice intentionally to add double impact. And now James Braden back in control again, and he said something to Bryson there. I'm not sure what he said, but he was saying something to Bryson. And now James Braden going off the ropes here, a big double axe handle, and now Mackay getting back to his feet. And now Mackay starting to get a little bit of a little bit of something going, but James Braden's so strong, ladies and gentlemen. He's so strong, physically demeaning to most other superstars. And so Mackay's got to do something. He's got to, like I said, I think he's got to get Jimmy B. Martinez or Craig Hazard in here to help work down James Braden. Oh, and that quick arm drag there from Mackay. And now James Braden back, switches positions. And James Braden's in enemy territory right now. And wait a second, Mackay, that snap suplex, nothing fancy about it. And now Jimmy B. Martinez, the legal man, in. And James Braden, with that big right hand, knocked Jimmy B. Martinez into the ropes. And James Braden, basic backdrop here. And look at James Braden now taunting. And I think that was a mistake because Jimmy B. Martinez from behind there. And a beautiful, beautiful drop kick. Jimmy B. Martinez drop kick James Braden right in the back. It didn't knock James Braden down, but it did stagger him. And a beautiful, beautiful side Russian leg sweep from Jimmy B. Martinez. And this is what being a TPP superstar is all about, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be able to compete on a weekly basis. And James Braden again with that shoulder block. And now wait a second, Bryson now the legal man in this matchup. And now Bryson and James Braden are going to work together. And this is what I was referring to when I said TCO. When they work together, they are extremely, extremely dangerous. And now Bryson quickly tags in Scythe, but Jimmy B. Martinez keeping his focus on James Braden, and that may have been a very big mistake. And Scythe there with that pullback kick. And a flurry of strikes from Scythe to Jimmy B. Martinez. And a basic slap, nothing fancy about it, just a flurry of strikes. And again, slapping Jimmy B. Martinez to the corner, but JBM starting to fight back here. Whip Scythe to the other end where the good guys are, thank God. Jimmy B. Martinez buying himself a little bit of time. That springboard. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, what to expect out of this matchup. I don't know. And wait a second, Mackay on the outside here, and Scythe ran right back in the ring. He didn't want any of Mackay. As you saw, Mackay was taunting Jimmy B. Martinez, taunting Scythe, saying, "Come on, bring it on." And Scythe did not want any of James Mackay tonight. And I don't blame him, because James Mackay is ready to lay the smackdown on Scythe. And as you saw, beautiful seated spine buster from Jimmy B. Martinez into the cover. Got the 2 count. James Braden got into the ring. That means he sensed that there was a potential that Scythe may not have kicked out. And now Mackay is going to get his hands on Scythe. Off the ropes here goes Scythe. Neck breaker and a back breaker at the same time. And Scythe quickly realized that Mackay is the legal man, trying to turn his attention to him. Get some strikes going, but Mackay weathering the storm here. And now what is going to happen? I'm telling you, Scythe has been in enemy territory for a very large portion of his time as the legal man of this matchup. Mackay into the cover, 1, 2, and James Braden came in to break up that pinfall attempt. And I think Scythe needs to get himself tagged out, because if he doesn't, this could be a very bad night for him. And now here we go, Scythe using the ropes as a way to start getting himself in a situation where he's at an advantage instead of a disadvantage. And now Mackay back into that corner. Wait a second. James Braden going to the top. I don't know what Jimmy B. Bryson was doing. Oh, and a big drop kick. You don't see a 280-pound man fly very often, but when you do, you know it's a pretty big deal. And now Jimmy B. Martinez getting in to kind of throw James Braden off a little bit, but James Braden very focused as of late. And Mackay, that big running shoulder thrust, impressive, no doubt about it. And now what is Mackay going to do? Mackay runs in to Castillo, and this is not an actual submission move. He's got this locked in to just wear the arms down, hurt the big man, give him some pain. And now our TPP champion is in. James Braden, big running clothesline to Craig Hazard. Craig Hazard, the freshest man in this matchup. But now Craig Hazard with the switches position, side headlock, raised knee lift. And, oh, big right hand from James Braden. And just giving Craig Hazard an idea of what to expect against James Braden at Network Collision, I suppose. But James Braden doesn't know what it's like to fight Craig Hazard. Craig Hazard is a different kind of, superstar. He goes beyond being just a superstar. He's that damn good. And I'm not trying to pun anybody when I say that, but he is that good, ladies and gentlemen. And now look at this, James Braden making, oh, but no. Big backdrop to the outside from Craig Hazard. And Scythe with that guillotine choke using the ropes. And now Hazard, flies to the outside, takes out Scythe. And it is broken down out here on the outside. And ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a quick commercial break. We will be back in just one quick moment.
Hi, I'm Die Hard, the creator of The Power Plant, the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer. And today I want to talk to you about becoming a member of Frontline. Now, a lot of people tend to ask this on various forms of social media, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, on Xbox, on PlayStation, wherever. Well, there's one simple solution on how you can do that. And it's a very simple website to learn and to remember. That website is www.tpp2k.com. All you have to do is go there, fill in your information on the application section, and if I feel that you are good enough for Frontline, I will choose you. But more than likely, you can't cut it, because I only want the best of the best, and unfortunately most of you are not the best of the best. So again, if you are interested, go over to the website and do what you got to do, because you know what? It's a lifestyle choice.
And we're back here, folks, and our official is throwing out this tag team match because it completely broke down during the commercial break. And TCO on the outside here, running back in, and Craig Hazard leading the attack here. Now all three members of TCO are going to taste some defeat. Vertebreaker, IKO, and that neck slam on Scythe. And ladies and gentlemen, we just saw TCO go down. TCO has went down tonight, ladies and gentlemen. No doubt about that. No matter how somebody tries to twist it. TCO now getting back to their feet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time for tonight. I will see you guys next week on Frontline. Be prepared, ladies and gentlemen. Network Collision is coming soon. See you next week, everybody.